Hi, I'm Marcel, and welcome to me screaming into the void, mostly about books. I'm doing a project of reading around the world, and for Liberia, I read Voices of the Trumpetess by Mae Azango, which is her kind of sort of autobiography. So Mae Azango is a very famous journalist and human rights advocate in Liberia, and she wrote this book to say something about her life. And she has scenes about how she was almost sexually abused as a child, how she dealt with the Liberian War, how her husbands have reacted to her life. And this is basically a celebrity memoir, which I've now read a celebrity memoir. I picked this up mainly because I was looking for books for Liberia, and I didn't know about Mae Azango. I just saw that she was a journalist, and considering I have quite a few journalists in my family, thought that was interesting. There are some interesting scenes in the book in regard to her life, but I think that this would require you to sort of know about who Mae Azango is to really be interested, because sadly there is very little work, there is very little idea. She does little to do any connections between the different scenes in the autobiography. So there are, she, for example, starts with talking about how she was sexually abused as a child, and simply said she was very grateful that she had a family that supported her and believed her when she told them about that. But there is sort of no sort of trying to look at why does this happen? What is the system for what this can happen within? What allows this to happen? What should we do to stop it? There are very few sort of trying to use her own life story to give a more general critique of the culture that she was raised in. The same thing happened in regard to, of course, the war in Liberia. Liberia has a very, I was going to say has a very interesting story, and yet I tried to think of, is there a country that doesn't have an interesting story in a sense? But Liberia is known for being a place where free slaves and free Black people in the US wanted to have their own state in Africa. So they simply created Liberia as a state, and a lot of people from America moved there to create their own life. Not thinking that there were already people living at this area that is now Liberia. So Liberia is a country where you had the people who lived in this area that now is Liberia, and the Americans moving that were creating the state of Liberia, and there is a lot of things that happen when two groups of people are trying to live on one set of land, which resulted, among other things, in the Liberian War. And again, she talks quite empathetically, quite interestingly. I can see that she is a journalist. She's very, very good at writing and talking about how she saved herself, how she saved her family, all of that, how she was influenced, especially considering she were a part of the upper class in Liberia, and therefore were especially targeted during the war. So how this influenced her family, but there is no sort of trying to look at the war in a bigger picture, trying to figuring out, well, what does this mean for us as a country? The closest she does in regard to trying to understand the things that are happening in her life in a bigger context has to do with gender roles. And of course, that is the theme that she, in her journalistic work, has been most focused on. So she does in this book, to some degree, even if you could always want more. She tries in some degree to show how these strict patriarchal rules for women can hinder society, hinder women, have these consequences. And that is the most interesting part of the book. How men can leave you with the children. What does that do for children's rights? What does that do for women's possibility to build a secure sort of life for themselves? So it's an easy read, and I also liked it because, of course, it is an introduction to Liberia, Liberian culture. Reading the book, she didn't say so much about the war, but reading the book made me want to do more research into the war. And yes, this is a book for Liberia. If you have any other suggestions for book by Liberian authors, please leave them in the comments down below. And do you read a lot of celebrity memoirs? Is my critique of this one something that resonates with other celebrity memoirs? Let me know. And thank you for listening to me screaming to the